Hey everyone, it's Short Fiction Friday. This week I read just one short story, Out of the Night When the Moon is Bright by Kim Newman. So this might be kind of a short episode this week. Let's get into the review. Out of the Night When the Moon is Bright by Kim Newman was first published in 1994 in this book actually. The Giant Book of Werewolves is a mixture of old classic stories and new stories. This is quite a long short story, and it has two intersecting plots told in alternate chapters. So the first plot line is about Stuart. He's a British writer. He's had a successful book. There's currently talks of them making it into a movie. Stuart's working on the script. And as some additional research, he's riding along with cops in LA to kind of get a first-hand account of what it's like. So as he's riding along with the cops, they come across a massacre. It appears to be drug-related, like gang warfare, and Stuart sees a mysterious black van speeding out of the scene of the crime. Stuart sees a lot of police incompetence, or is it incompetence? Maybe the cops are just kind of playing dumb. So that's the setup for the first plot. The second plot line in the alternate chapters is Kim Newman kind of reimagining Zorro as a werewolf. You get Diego, a werewolf shapeshifter, who is kind of this avenging force, and he leaves a Z scratch mark in his victims. And because this werewolf is immortal or ageless, Kim Newman uses these chapters to really give a bit of a historical overview of California. All these little snapshots of California in different times. Now, Zorro as a werewolf, that's the kind of thing that could be very lame, but I think Newman handled those chapters pretty well. And in the introduction to the story, it's stated that he was inspired by a few different history books, and one of them was actually one that I'd read. It's Mike Davis's City of Quartz, which is history and geography of California. Now, that's a book I read probably 15 years ago, but I do remember bits of it, and it was quite an interesting book. So you get this history and geography of California integrated into what is really a very pulpy horror short story. How much you enjoy this short story will probably be dependent on how much you enjoy history. Getting so much historical detail into a horror short story can sometimes be a little bit inelegant. But I mostly enjoyed it. I've talked about I enjoy history before. And I have read this, one of the books he was referring to, so maybe it was a little bit easier for me. One of the other things is that the back and forth between the two chapters, the two plot lines, can sometimes break the rhythm. I found that in a few novels and short stories that have real stylistic differences between two separate plot lines. The back and forth between two chapters sometimes really breaks the rhythm of reading. The other criticism I would have is that because Newman's writing about, gangsters and Hollywood youth, there's a lot of slang in this, and sometimes it does come off as a middle-aged, uncool writer trying to show that he's hip with the youth. There's some of these cool cyberpunk near future kind of elements that are, to me at least, they come off as decidedly uncool. But that's just me. I mean, it's kind of goofy. It's a very small complaint, really. This is especially true when Newman's writing about like Hollywood studios and parties in that whole scene. It just comes off as very cartoonish. But overall, this is a good short story. Okay, and ranking this short story, maybe putting it on my top 20 list, the big list of short stories that I've read. Out of the Night When the Moon is Bright was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but it's not going to make the top 20. All right, let's pick some new short stories for next week. The way this works is very simple. I've got book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The 6-sided die selects the book. The 12-sided die selects the story within the book. Okay, first roll. One and 10. It's the war book. The stories with pencil marks next to them I've already read. So you can see there's not actually 10 stories left in this. So I'm just going to pick the last one. The House by the Crabapple Tree by S.S. Johnson. And that short story is 25 pages long. I'm going to keep rolling the dice and selecting new short stories until I get to at least 50 pages. All right, second roll. 3 and 7. That's the werewolf book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anything But Your Kind by Nicholas Royal. And that's 15 pages, which takes us to 40 pages so far. Okay, third roll. 2 and 4. Body horror book. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Cheney Legacy by Robert Bloch. And that's 19 pages, which takes us over the 50-page minimum. All right, I'll put the 3 selected stories up on the screen here. I have read a little bit of Robert Bloch before, and I've enjoyed his stuff. These other 2 authors I'm not familiar with, actually. So we'll see. Go read these short stories if you have access to them. And I'll see you all again next week. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.